Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. Please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below and click on the bell as well. Thank you so much. So in my last update about This Is Fate, Preeta and Shriti decided to put camera on Sherlyn's necklace, and Preeta put the necklace on Sherlyn's neck during Sherlyn's baby shower, and all the family members were watching Sherlyn and PrIthvi in Raki's room. And Rishabh angrily goes to the room to open the door to see what was going on. That was our last update. Let's continue from there. Rishabh knocks on the door asking PrIthvi to open the door. The family were still watching the video. Sanjana asks Rishabh to calm down, but Shriti asks that why is Sanjana asking Rishabh to calm down, because Rishabh is doing the right thing. The family were still watching the video and Sherlyn collapsed. Raki asks that what is happening to Sherlyn. Preeta says that it seems like a panic attack and she feels that Sherlyn might faint, so they have to rush to save Sherlyn. Rishabh was constantly yelling at PrIthvi to open the door. Sanjana asks Rishabh not to worry because there is nothing like what he is thinking. Rishabh asks Sanjana to stop talking because he knows what he is doing. And Rishabh once again asks PrIthvi to open the door. Preeta asks Rishabh to break down the door because Sherlyn is having a panic attack. Rishabh breaks down the door and PrIthvi comes out holding Sherlyn in his hand, and PrIthvi asks Girish to take out the car, and the entire Lutra family rush Sherlyn to the hospital. Rishabh and PrIthvi were taking Sherlyn to the operation theatre and all the family were waiting. Shriti was standing at the back and she stopped Samir, saying that she needs to give Samir a good news because now the truth of PrIthvi and Sherlyn will be revealed. And Shriti says that PrIthvi is still running after Sherlyn even when Rishabh is present. And Samir asks Shriti that what has happened. Shriti says that she came with Sala to the city hospital and she also called Preeta there, and they met Dr. Roshni because she saw PrIthvi going into Dr. Roshni's office, and they were able to confirm that Sherlyn came with PrIthvi, saying that PrIthvi is her husband. So now they know the reason Akshay was blackmailing Sherlyn was because Akshay came to know the truth that Sherlyn is about to give birth to PrIthvi's child. The doctor arrives and Preeta explains that Sherlyn was having a panic attack, so the doctor must perform the checkup quickly. Raki also says that Sherlyn was not feeling well for the past few days, and Raki prays that Sherlyn and her child should be safe. Grandma asks that why do they bring Sherlyn to the hospital when they could have hired a big doctor. Rishabh explains that they couldn't bring Sherlyn to the hospital earlier because the door was locked. Grandma asks that why was the door locked from the inside, and Rishabh turns to PrIthvi and PrIthvi was worried. Rishabh asks PrIthvi that why was the door locked from the inside. PrIthvi tries to explain that there is nothing of sort because when a boy and a girl are together, then it doesn't mean that anything happens between them. Shriti says that PrIthvi is right, but they would only believe that when both the boy and the girl do not have any bad intention, and she is not sure about Sherlyn and PrIthvi. PrIthvi tries to explain that they are just being suspicious because nothing happened. Rishabh wants PrIthvi not to talk nonsense because they know what was happening in the room. PrIthvi asks that what does Rishabh mean. Shriti clarifies that they saw the entire recording on the big screen and PrIthvi was shocked. PrIthvi says that it is not right and Rishabh should at least trust Sherlyn, who is his own wife, but Rishabh was not convinced. Kritika also asks PrIthvi to tell them the truth about what was happening in the room, and PrIthvi tries to say that there was nothing, but Kritika was adamant, asking that why is PrIthvi not speaking the truth. PrIthvi asks everyone to think that if there is anything between him and Sherlyn, then they wouldn't have met in Raki's room, and they could have met somewhere else out of the house. PrIthvi explains that he was going, and he heard breathing from inside the room, so he decided to go there because he knew that Sherlyn was pregnant and Sherlyn needed this help, and that was why he decided to help Sherlyn. PrIthvi says that he saw that Sherlyn was not able to breathe and the door was also locked, and he is happy that everyone came at the right time, but there's just one thing, and that thing is why and who was the one that planned the idea of the recording. Shriti accepted that she was the one that planned the whole idea, but Preeta also accepted that she was the one, and Grandma scolded Preeta, asking that why does she have to interfere in other people's lives, and why can't Preeta let them live peacefully. PrIthvi asked Grandma not to be so angry because Preeta doesn't think bad of anyone, and Preeta always cares for everyone, and it is because of Preeta that Sherlyn is safe today, and it is because of Preeta's action, because had Preeta not placed the camera on Sherlyn's necklace, then Sherlyn would not have been saved, and Preeta really cares for everyone. And PrIthvi continues to give the entire credit to Preeta. The doctor comes there and explains that Sherlyn is fine now, but she is still unconscious, and they can meet her after she wakes up. Sanjana comes to Preeta asking that what was the reason for Preeta placing the camera on Sherlyn's necklace. PrIthvi once again talks on Preeta's behalf, saying that Preeta only placed the camera on Sherlyn's necklace because Sherlyn was not feeling well since the past few days, so Preeta was worried for Sherlyn's safety, and that was why Preeta attached the camera on Sherlyn's necklace. PrIthvi once again explains that Preeta doesn't think bad for anyone, and Preeta tries to refuse and she wanted to say the truth, but Shruti quickly says that is the same. Raki comes to Preeta appreciating her for saving Sherlyn's life, and just then, Karan walks in, and Raki also thanks PrIthvi for being the one to save the life of her daughter-in-law and her grandchild. PrIthvi, however, says that there's no need, since he is also like a son to Raki. The nurse comes there and says that Sherlyn is awake now, and everyone wanted to go and meet Sherlyn, but the nurse advised them that they should all go in batches. Grandma advised them all to go, while she would wait outside with Karina. Raki enters and asks Sherlyn how she is feeling. PrIthvi signals to Sherlyn that he has handled the situation. Sanjana also comes there, saying that she was scared when Sherlyn got sick. Rishabh also asks about Sherlyn's health. Sherlyn asks that why was Rishabh angry. Rishabh apologized to Sherlyn and Rishabh leaves. And Sherlyn thinks that Rishabh will now have to apologize at every moment for what he has done today. Sherlyn says to Raki that she needs to go back home. Raki explains that the doctor said that they will keep her under observation, so she can go back home in the night, and Raki leaves with Preeta. Rishabh explains that he will be close to Sherlyn and he leaves. PrIthvi, after signaling to Sherlyn, also leaves the room and he smiles. In the night, Preeta was sitting on the swing. PrIthvi comes from behind and asks that how is Preeta doing. Preeta tries to leave, but PrIthvi stops Preeta, saying that he needs to talk with Preeta. PrIthvi says that he wants Preeta to say thank you to him because he was standing in front of the entire Luthra family for Preeta. PrIthvi says that Karan was not able to do anything, and even Preeta's sister did not do anything when Preeta was being blamed for the camera. PrIthvi says that the way the Luthra family was humiliating Preeta, and there was no one who can save Preeta and take care of her, and he was the only one who saved Preeta, and Preeta is still staying in the Luthra house because of him. Preeta asks PrIthvi to tell her how did Sherlyn knows that they fitted a camera on her necklace, because they did not tell Sherlyn about the camera because Sherlyn was unconscious. PrIthvi explains that he is not an idiot, so the entire operation was just an act. PrIthvi says that when Sherlyn told him that Preeta informed her that it was him, PrIthvi, that revealed the truth to her, then at the same time he found the camera on Sherlyn's necklace, and he hugged Sherlyn and he secretly informed Sherlyn of the camera, and Sherlyn made the small panic attack a very big scene, and he knew that Rishabh, after seeing the video, would straight away come to the room, and immediately Rishabh kicked the door. Then he picks Sherlyn in his arms and he takes her straight to the hospital. PrIthvi asks that if Preeta really hates Sherlyn so much, why did Preeta came to save Sherlyn instead of watching the video? Preeta replies that this is because she cannot see anyone in pain. PrIthvi was amazed to hear Preeta's words, and Preeta says that she is a pure soul. PrIthvi says that Preeta must not try to ruin the identity of his relationship with Sherlyn again, because Preeta would never be able to, because his relationship with Sherlyn is really strong, and he will really soon get married to Kritika, and after that, he will become the son-in-law of the Luthra family, and Preeta knows how the son-in-law of the Luthra families are treated. Preeta wants PrIthvi not to even think of marrying Kritika because there is nothing more important to her than her family, and she would make sure that PrIthvi is thrown out of the house before getting married to Kritika. Raki and Karina help Sherlyn to sit on the bed. Sanjana was sitting beside Sherlyn's bed. Karina asks Raki that where is Rishabh. Raki replies that Rishabh went to bring the medicine. Karina turns to Sanjana and says that she is aware of being a mother and she knows what Sanjana might be feeling, and Sanjana can stay with them for a couple of days until Sherlyn is okay. Sanjana turns down the offer, explaining that there are guests in the house, so she cannot stay, and there's no need to worry because the entire family is with Sherlyn. Rishabh comes with the medicine. Raki asks that what did the doctor said. Rishabh replies that the doctor said that everything is fine with Sherlyn, but Sherlyn only needs to rest. And Rishabh poured some water and gave it to Sherlyn and also the medicine, and Sherlyn looks at Sanjana, who was worried. Karina says that she feels good to see both Sherlyn and Rishabh together after such a long time. Raki prays and says that it is for the best that Sherlyn got well because Rishabh also came back home. Mahira comes there and says that she just found out about Sherlyn's health, and Mahira sat beside Sherlyn and she secretly says to Sherlyn that she is impressed with the drama that Sherlyn created. PrIthvi asked Preeta not to be so wrong of him because he is Preeta's well-wisher, because if he had not helped Preeta today, then Preeta would have been thrown out of the house. PrIthvi says that he is only marrying Kritika to stay close to both Preeta and Sherlyn, otherwise he would have not been allowed to enter the literal house, and that is why he needed a way, and that way was Kritika, and he doesn't love Kritika at all. Preeta says that PrIthvi is not a man but a devil. Kritika comes there asking that what has happened, and why was Preeta talking in such a way to PrIthvi, saying that PrIthvi is not a man. PrIthvi quickly says that Kritika is also misunderstanding Preeta again, because Preeta meant to say that he is not a man but a really good man, and just as they say good, which is because he helped Preeta when no one was there to stand by her, and he stood by Preeta's side, so he asked Preeta to say such things about him. Kritika asks that what wrong has Preeta said, because PrIthvi is really an honest person. PrIthvi asks Kritika and says that he is impressed with how blindly Kritika trusts him, and PrIthvi quickly leaves Kritika and says that this might not be right. Kritika says that she thought that since their wedding day is coming close, so she thinks that she might buy a new wedding necklace. PrIthvi agrees to cancel all his appointments, saying that he will not even breathe if Kritika asks him to. Preeta lives there in anger, and Kritika says that she did not know that PrIthvi was this shy, but PrIthvi must not act shy because Preeta has left, and PrIthvi replies that they will go straight to the room. Raki says that they would leave now and Sherlyn must rest. Sanjana asks Sherlyn to take care of herself. Rishabh closed the door, but Sherlyn calls Rishabh, and Rishabh asks if Sherlyn needs anything. Sherlyn says that she has a question, and Sherlyn asks if Rishabh thinks that there is something going on between her and PrIthvi. Rishabh sits down, saying that Sherlyn knows that he trusts her, and he cannot judge anyone without finding out the truth, and Sherlyn knows what happened was wrong, because after what he heard, he might have harmed PrIthvi, but he is however grateful for Preeta, because Preeta came at the right time to inform them that Sherlyn is having a panic attack, but all is in the past now, so Sherlyn must rest, and Rishabh assures Sherlyn that he would always be there for her. Sherlyn was happy that Rishabh is not suspicious of her actions, and Sherlyn decided to do everything to ruin Preeta, because with a lot of difficulty she has made a position for herself in the literal house, and she will not allow anyone to ruin it, and she will make sure that Preeta is ruined before she harms her. Karan was preparing for the practice. Preeta comes there asking that what has happened, because Karan is worried. Karan replies that he did not feel good after seeing the entire family, because they were all really worried. Preeta replies that Raki was more worried about Sherlyn's baby, because if Sherlyn is hurt, then it would affect the child. Karan asks that why did Preeta not tell the truth about her mission, and Preeta assures Karan that there is no need to worry, and Karan must only take care of his practice, and Preeta asks if the coach is happy with Karan now, but Karan says that the coach is just observing for now, and he will give his verdict after a few days. Preeta says that she will wait for Karan until he comes back because she feels nice being around Karan, and she would also go to buy a gift for Karan tomorrow. Karan asks that what is the gift, but Preeta insists that it will be a surprise, and Karan asks Preeta to buy the gift from his favorite shop, and Preeta agrees and Karan leaves. In the morning, Rishabh was getting ready for the office, and Rishabh explains that he feels that Sherlyn knows that she doesn't have to go out and she should take care of herself. Sherlyn thinks that Rishabh should not be nice with her because Rishabh is not a good person, because Rishabh ruined her relationship with PrIthvi. Rishabh leaves the room. Then Sherlyn calls a criminal, and the criminal asks if Sherlyn needs to get someone killed. Sherlyn instructed the criminal that it must look like an accident, and she also wanted to happen as soon as possible. And Sherlyn turns, but she was shocked to see that someone was standing in the room. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it, comment, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.